What's up guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a really exciting video. I'm so excited. We're going to do some book content, which I have been wanting to do for so long, but I unfortunately had no idea what to do, and I've seen so many mid-year book tags on my YouTube, my TikTok, my podcasts, so that's what we're doing. So welcome to my mid-year book tag. Today is the 3rd of July, so we are officially past the half-year mark, which is kind of really weird. Just letting you know, most of these questions I've gotten from other videos or podcasts that I've listened to, so it's not entirely my question ideas because I had no idea. Let me know any other book content that you guys want to see and I will definitely try my best to do that for you. So first off, we're going to just start with some stats so you guys can get an idea of me as a reader, because I feel like I read a lot of books but not really in comparison to like proper like book talkers and booktubers. So I set my goal for 50 books this year, which is like my normal. I normally go for 50. I had 50 up until 2023 and I smashed 50 so easy because I was in year 12 and I didn't do anything but read books. And then so I was like, last year I was like, okay, I'll put it to 60. But I forgot to, think about the circumstances that I was going to be overseas. So I did not reach my 60, so I put it down to 50 this year. But I have read 34 books out of 50, so I think that I'm going to do that pretty easily. 4 of the books that I've read are ebooks, which is really weird. I feel like I've read more ebooks. I don't like reading ebooks, to be honest, because it hurts my eyes and I just don't like being on my phone before I go to bed. So I try not to read ebooks. I really want to get a Kindle, but they're expensive. And then I've read 4 books that I borrowed. So I've borrowed them from other people. One of them I still have in my possession, but I don't know who it belongs to. So if anyone knows if it's yours, let me know. And then the last one, I only reread 9 books and they were the Shadow Me series, which is really impressive for me because I'm a really bad rereader. Oh, it's like not bad, but I will like religiously reread books. Like I have read all of Ali Carter's books like over 10 times. It's ridiculous. I actually haven't read any of her books this year, which I really want to reread, but we'll get into that later. Yeah, I'm a really like bad rereader because I just love books and I'll just like keep reading the ones that I know I love. I'm kind of proud of myself that I've been reaching out and finding new books to read, which is good. So first question we have is, what were my favourite reads of the year? And I have 6 because one of them is a series. So first off, which I recently read, the Prison Healer series, which honestly I think is one of my new favourite books, like book series I've ever read. I love Lynette Noni. I read Whisper and Weapon when I was like in year 10 or something, and I have read them so many times. I love her writing. I love her stories. She's just such a great writer, and the fact that she wrote Whisper and Weapon based in Sydney was so cool and I loved it. And the Prison Healer series, I burned through that. It was ridiculous. I actually really need to reread it because I read it so fast that it kind of all mushed into one and I kind of don't remember what happened. But these were definitely like top books of the year. I know they're gonna make it. To be honest, all of these I think will make it into my top books of the year. But we also have Powerless, which obviously like there's no explanation needed. Reckless came out today and I need to buy it. And then The Road Not Taken, which I have raved about on my TikTok. Emily Shooter, she is a master with words. She's a master with characters. I love it so much. I am so excited for her next book to come out, which I will talk about later. And finally, of course, Fourth Wing, which got me into fantasy this year. Fourth Wing was my first fantasy book that I probably read in a long time. I read so many dystopian books, but fantasy, not really very many. I think really the only proper ones I can think of are like Harry Potter. So Fourth Wing really got me into fantasy and I love it, and I'm so excited for what's it called, Onyx Stone? I think the next one to come out. I've been watching her interviews and it's making me excited, guys. So the next question is the best sequel that I've read, and I tried to do it so it wasn't like the Prison Healer series where I just read them all in one. I put down Some Kind of Perfect by Krista and Rebecca Ritchie because I have been reading the Calloway Sisters slash Addicted series for like literally years. I started it in 2023 I think, and I finally finished So I'm Kind of Perfect, the last book in the series, which was really sad because it ended and they were like my little family. I just love the Calloway sisters, especially Lily and Lo. Lily and Lo have my heart, and Some Kind of Perfect, I feel like it just like it rounded it all off for me. Like I got to see their life because I am a sucker for an epilogue. I love it. I like afterwards I always have to imagine their life. Like I would happily have authors write just like no plot. I just want to see their life afterwards. Like it makes me so happy. So I really loved it. It was incredible, made me cry a little, but it was so good. Re-releases that I haven't read yet. I'm really bad at, I feel like I've only recently gotten into reading re-releases like straight away, but my problem is I don't like it when they have like Fourth Wing, I think is the only book where I own it where it's the big size. I don't like it because then it's like, it makes my books like, I don't like it. So a lot of the time I haven't read re-releases straight away because I don't like the new releases that I've written down is Magnolia Park's Into the Dark. I really want to read it, but I'm really scared because I don't want it to end. I know that there's going to be one more Daisy Hates, I think. Also, I made the mistake of reading them on my phone because I started reading them last year when I was away. And so now I'm like, do I just go and buy the whole series? I don't know, so I have to read that. I really want to read it, but I'm also really scared because I don't want to say goodbye to Magnolia or BJ, guys. And I know how the last one ended, so I'm really scared for that. Powerful. I haven't read Powerful, the novella for Powerless, because every time I look at it, like, it's the same price as Powerless and it's so tiny. And I just mentally, like, I know I have to read it before I read Reckless, so I'm like kind of, like, I'm stuck now. I actually have to read it. Next, If Only I Had Her. I read If He'd Been With Me and it made me cry, and I don't know if I can put myself through that again. I don't know if I can read his perspective knowing how If He'd Been With Me ends. I really don't know if I can do it. Like, I've read The Bell Jar, but I don't know if I can read that. Finally, the reappearance of Rachel Price. I haven't, like, I don't know why I haven't read it, to be honest. I think I just haven't, like, bought it. I don't know. It's a lot of effort to buy books, guys. I think, and especially because now I've realised how cheap Big W sells them for. So now whenever I go into QVD or Dinix, I'm like, it's so expensive. My most anticipated new release of the year. Look, I'm just gonna say it because we all know I've talked about it like 4 times and we're like 5 minutes into the video. Reckless. It came out today and I'm very excited for it and I can't wait, and I just need to know. I need to know if Kai falters, guys. He has to falter, please. Please, Laurent Roberts, please make him falter. Please. Please. Next one is The Road Less Travelled By, which is the sequel to The Road Not Taken by Emily Tudor, my new favourite author. I love her so much. So this one's based on Olivia, and then The Road Less Travelled By is going to be on her sister Brie, and she's like a YouTuber, so she has a bodyguard. It's like a bodyguard, it's the bodyguard trope basically. I'm really excited. It comes out August 1st of August. Whenever I say it like that, I sound American. Final one, sorry, my dad was vacuuming. I don't know if you could hear that. Final one is Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. I love Ali Carter. I talk about Ali Carter all the time. She's my favourite author of all time. I love her so much, and she's releasing The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year at the end of this year, I think. It's like a Christmas book. I'm so excited for it. It's like because she released The Blonde Identity last year and I got it, and it was her first like proper adult novel because I've read all of her young adult books, and so this is another adult novel, and I'm so excited because she always writes the spy things. I love spy books. I love them so much. They are literally my favourite. I've always wanted to be a spy ever since I watched Spy Kids when I was little, like, so basically I'm just living my dream vicariously through them. My biggest surprises, so these are books that I just was shocked at how much I loved them. The first one is Fourth Wing because I'd seen things on TikTok and I was excited to read it, but I also knew that it was fantasy, and I always try and steer away from fantasy because it's like a whole world that you have to discover. The names get me, like, I'm just pronouncing their names like blah 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 in my head, like there's no way I'm actually saying their names. Like, I loved it. It was my second read of the year and it was the best read. I loved it so much. So that was a real surprise for me, and it really got me into fantasy, which I'm so excited for. So give me fantasy recs if you guys have any. I'm sorry if I moved, I just had to check that my camera wasn't blurry. My other surprise book that I read was The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I kind of just read this because I had nothing to read and someone had lent it to me, but I actually really loved it. I read it so fast. It was so cute. It was actually so the girl is the bodyguard. It was really good. I really loved it. It was like fake dating. She's the bodyguard protecting him, but then he's also like, no, I'm the guy, I have to protect you. And so it was like actually really cute, and I really loved it. So definitely read it if you're looking for a nice, light, easy read. Favorite new author? Do we need words? This is a silent review. Emily Tudor, I love you. Thank you for coming into my world. My newest fictional crush. There are so many and it's so hard, but I narrowed it down to 3, and I kind of feel bad because they're all fantasy guys, and so I feel bad for the normal like everyday guys that are just trying to like live life, but you just can't compete. You just can't compete with the fantasy guys. So of course, Zayden from Fourth Wing, unless you know what I'm talking about, but still, we still love him. Kai from Powerless. I love Kai. I love him so much. He's so funny. He's just like hilarious, except like when he's serious, but even then, like. And I love his full name's Malachi. And finally, Jaren from the Prison Healer series. If you haven't read the Prison Healer series, if you're gonna take one thing away from this, please read it. Please read about Jaren. And I did read his name as Jared for most of the first book until I realised it was Jaren. But what's his actual first name? I've forgotten. But Jaren's actually his middle name. We love Jaren. He's so cool with his little superpowers, and the way he treats Kiva, even when he literally hates her, is so nice. Like, he just like, oh, I just love him. Books that made me cry. Believe it or not, I cry a lot in books, but it's not like the books that you'd expect me to cry in, except for one. You'd think I'd cry in The Bell Jar. No, I was just severely disturbed. You'd think I'd cry in this. No, but I felt sad, but I didn't cry. You'd think I'd cry in Monday's Not Coming, but I didn't. I was just in shock. Like, there are books that people die, like murder mysteries and things that people die, but I didn't cry in them. And they have 2 of them in physical copies. First off, we have Iron Flame, because I think I cried a little in Fourth Wing as well, but I think Iron Flame topped it off because I just didn't like the ending, and I was so upset that that was how it ended. People died and I wasn't happy with it. So yeah. Rebecca Yarros, please bring them back. You know who I'm talking about. Like, I know that you say they're dead, but please, I can't. Please fix that ending, because it cannot be like that. And then The Road Not Taken. I've talked about this one so much, but it's literally just been the highlight of my reads this year. It was such an emotional roller coaster. He didn't get her letters. He didn't get her letters. That's all I'm saying. And there was also just like happy tears as well, because it was so nice. I just loved it so much. Also, If You'd Been With Me, which is obvious, like I just was crying because it was so sad. And Long Way Down, I was crying in that as well, because I thought Daisy died. I was crying at work in my break because I thought Daisy died, and then I also thought Reich died. Why? Why, Krista and Becca? Why did you do that to me? On my break. On my break. And then also Some Kind of Perfect, because I just didn't want to let them go. At the end I was just crying because I was like, this is the end. And then finally, the other book that made me cry was The Tearsmith. It was more out of shock because I was so shocked. I was like, as if that just happened. Like, one minute it was all fine, next minute like I thought they were both dead. Next, complete like 180. Books that made me happy. We have Girl Abroad. This book made me so happy. It made me so, like, it was just such a like happy book. Like, it wasn't like just a little happy book. Like, there was things in it that weren't happy, but it really just made me happy. Like, it healed my soul. And then next was Ciao for Now. This was another book that I just had nothing to read, so I went into my sister's room and I was like, I'm gonna read a book. She's like, okay. Do you notice how both these books that made me happy were based overseas? Wow, saying something, isn't it? Fashion student, she lives in Rome. It was just like really happy. It just made me want to eat pasta and gelato and like watch the Trevi Fountain in Rome. So it was just a really cute book. We have the most beautiful book. I don't own any special edition books, so I was like, what can I do? Because yes, I have books that are pretty, but like they're just normal editions. So I have what I'd consider the most beautiful book dedication, and it is in The Blood Trader by Lynette Noni. And it's for anyone who has wanted to give up but chose to keep going, to keep trying, to keep hoping, to keep surviving. This book is for us. And I took a photo of it because I was like, that really hits me. So that is like also all of the Prison Healer series. The map in the Prison Healer series is the most beautiful map ever. I love it. It's so nice. I love Little Women. It is one of my all-time favorite movies, favorite books. It is like incredible. I love it. And I bought this in Paris at Shakespeare & Co bookshop in Paris, and I took it all through America with me, all the way to Hawaii. It's seen some better days, but it is such a pretty book cover. It's like, I've always wanted to get a really nice copy of Little Women because I have like, oh, I used to have, maybe I don't have it. I had one and it was just like a basic one. I think it was just like the, you know, the brown and orange ones, but this one is so pretty. What books do I need to read by the end of the year? A lot. But we're gonna just go with these ones that I could think of. 2 of the new Emily Henry books because I haven't bought them and I haven't read them. I still haven't read Happy Place and I still haven't read Funny Story, despite the fact that I love Emily Henry's books, but I have a reason. Okay, going back to what I was speaking about earlier in the video, I hate it when they're the big size and the small size. So I have 3 of the Emily Henry books, but they're all the small size. And then Happy Place took like over a year to come in at the small size. So I think it was before Easter when I went to Big W and I first saw it in the normal size. And I just still haven't bought it. And Funny Story is still in the big size, so I haven't read either of them, which is really sad. Powerless, because I still haven't read it. Beautiful World, Where Are You? So I love Normal People, I love the show, I love the book. Sally Rooney is an artist with words. I love her writing. She's just incredible, and I think, I don't know, like it's just such a different style of writing. Like I have never read a book similar to hers. I'm currently reading Conversations with Friends because I bought it secondhand for $10. Bargain! But I really want to read Beautiful World, Where Are You? Because I just love Sally Rooney's writing. Next question is, how many 5 stars have I given? I am a really easy rater marker. I could not be a teacher. I just think everything's good. So I went through my Goodreads and I looked at all my 5 stars, and actually it turns out when I look at them, a lot of them are 4.5, but Goodreads only does 4 stars, which is really annoying. So I actually only have 6 5-star reads, which is pretty good. I thought I was gonna have like half of them 5 stars. So I'm impressed with myself. I'm proud of myself that I have narrowed it down. One of them is a series, Prison Healer series. So the series together was 5 stars, but I think only the first book I would give a 5 stars by itself. All the others would be 4.5. So rating them by themselves, it's not all 5 stars, but the series together is 5 stars, which I think is really interesting because that's the same with a lot of series that I read. Like I rate them 5 stars, but it's actually the series as a whole that I rate 5 stars, not the book itself. Powerless was an easy 5 stars straight away. Loved every second of it. Monday's Not Coming, which I don't think I've talked about this video, I rated 5 stars. It was such a brilliant book. The plot twists got me. I thought I knew what had happened, and I was so far off. I reread the Shadow Me series. I don't rate the whole Shadow Me series 5 stars. I only rate it up until Ignite Me. Ignite Me is my favourite, but I do love Shadow Me and Unravel Me as well, but Ignite Me is definitely like 10 stars. Ignite Me is not even 5 stars, it's more. And then The Road Not Taken, 5 stars. And Fourth Wing, 5 stars. I didn't give Iron Flame 5 stars, 4.5 for Iron Flame. What books do I want to reread? You know, this is my favourite part of the video because I love rereading, and I'm really sad actually, despite the fact that I said I was proud of myself for not rereading many books. I'm really sad that I haven't reread many books because I want to reread more books. I need to reread A Good Girl's Guide to Murder because I just finished watching the show last night. It was really good until I realised how much stuff that it was missing, but like I know that there's stuff that's missing, but I can't remember it because I read it so long ago, so I really want to reread it so I can remember what happened. And I know that there's things that I don't remember that I've seen on TikTok, and I'm like, I remember this but I don't remember how like it happens or whatever. So I want to reread A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. Also I want to reread the Whisper and Weapon series because I've just read Prison Healer and I just remembered how good Lynette Noni is, and I also reread her books like almost every year. So I want to reread Fourth Wing because I don't remember anything that happens. It kind of all mushed together. It's like all one book in my mind and I just can't really remember, and I feel like I need to reread fantasy books because it kind of like, it's a lot to take in, you know, like, so I feel like rereading it you kind of get more of an understanding of what actually happens and like why it happens. Like you kind of understand like more about it, if that makes sense. And because I won't be rushing through it to know how it ends. Not that I read, like, you know, you're not like reading to see the ending, you're reading to read it, if that makes sense. Which is why I think I love rereading books, because I just love reading it to read it. Then also The Protected, which is one of my all-time favourite books by Claire Zorn. It is so good. It's based literally where I live. It's so amazing. I've read it so many times. I did it for an English assessment and I still love it. So that shows how much I love it. It's about this girl and her sister died in a car crash and she was in the car and she basically blames herself for it. But she's also struggling, obviously, because she lost her sister massively with her mental health. Whole high school experience, basically, she was seen as a loner and a weirdo and everyone never talked to her, and then it's just really lovely. I just love it so much. It's really incredible and I love Aussie writers. I love books based in Australia. And then also kind of similar to that, I also want to reread Pieces of Sky, which is another one of my all-time favourite books. Trinity Doyle, and I actually think it's one of her only books, which is really sad because I really love it. Her brother died in the ocean. He was like, you know, like, he was the brother that like everyone loved and everything, and she's just kind of like, Lucy's just trying to get through high school, and because her brother died in the ocean, he like drowned. So, and she's like a swimmer, and she's like, she is a swimmer. She's like very, very good swimmer. She's one of the best on the team, and she's terrified of getting back in the water, basically. Like she doesn't want to get back in the water because all she can think about is the fact that her brother drowned. So it's like her getting through that and everything, and it's really sweet, and it's based in Australia as well. Finally, I want to reread the Embassy Row series by Ali Carter because Embassy Row is one of my favourite series of all time. I love it so much. So I love Grace and I love Alexi. I love Alexi, he's my OG, along with Zachary Good. My OGs, guys. Okay, books that I have been putting off. I kind of talked about most of these, so I'm just gonna briefly go through the ones I haven't talked about. So Powerful, Emily Henry, what I talked about earlier, The Way I Am Now, what I talked about earlier, and Magnolia Park's Into the Dark, what I talked about earlier. And then we have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I have seen it everywhere, but I'm really worried that I'm not gonna like it. I don't know why. Like, I know I'm pretty sure I'll like it, but I've seen so much hype around it. I don't want to like go into it with really great expectations and then for it to not be as good, because that happened to another book that I'm going to talk about in the next question, and I was really disappointed. And then finally, the rest of Emily Tudor's books. This one is actually for a completely random reason. It's not for anything. I really want to read them, but I can only buy them on Amazon and it's really expensive to ship to me. So I think I'll ask for them for Christmas or something, so then I don't have to buy them. But I really want to read the rest of her books because they look so good, and I always see the things that she posts on her Instagram about them, like the little edits and stuff, and I'm like, ah, Emily, please, I just have to get there. Books I enjoyed with mixed reviews. I feel like I found this really hard. My first one that I thought of was The Tearsmith, but I've only seen mixed reviews on the movie. I feel like not many people have read the book. A lot of people hated on The Tearsmith because of the story, and I understand that because it is kind of messed up, because technically for a bit they were like adopted siblings, but they didn't end up being adopted in the end. So I think that it's okay. But to be honest, I enjoyed it more for the writing. I really loved how it was written. It was really nice. Despite the fact that it was translated from another language, it was still written beautifully. I just really loved it, but a lot of people didn't like it. Next one is The Bell Jar. Bell Jar was really hard to read, and I definitely don't recommend it if you're in a mental state that you don't think you should, that is not stable, basically. Read the trigger warnings, and if you're even a bit uncertain, don't read it. because it is so hard to read. It was really hard to read. I loved the way it was written, and I think that's what it comes down to, because it was such a hard book to read and so many people said, why are you reading it? Because it's such a horrible book. It's not though. It's a really beautifully written book, and even though it's really disturbing, never want to be inside Esther's brain ever again. It was really beautifully written. I was really scared that it was going to be a bad ending. So I actually kind of enjoyed it. I only rated it a 3.5. Finally, Wild Love. This one is the opposite. I really didn't enjoy it, even though everyone was raving about it. I was so excited to read it, and yeah, it was a good book, but I was underwhelmed. I don't know, I feel like it was just focused on like them. Rosie and Ford, it was just about them, which I understand it was a romance book, but normally there's some substance to it. Normally there's something else. I guess there was like his daughter, but it wasn't like enough. It wasn't enough, basically. It was just, I was underwhelmed, and I was really sad because I was looking forward to reading the other Elsie Silver books, but now I don't know if I want to spend my money on it. If you have any other of her books that you think that maybe is better, that has more substance to it maybe, let me know. Otherwise I think sadly I'm not an Elsie Silver fan. Second last question, we have 5-star predictions. I've already talked about all of these 3, so we're gonna rapid fire them. Reckless, The Road Less Traveled By, and Most Wonderful Crime of the Year. Enough has been said about them. They're gonna be a 5-star, and if they're not gonna be, and if they're not a 5-star, I will cry and I will demand a rewrite. And then final question, we have my favourite reread. I thought I'd reread more books, so that's why I put this question in, but apparently I haven't. So we are just going with the obvious. Ignite Me was my favourite reread of this year. It was so brilliant. I love Aaron. That was my mid-year book tag. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know any other book content that you guys want to see, because that was actually so much fun. I love talking about books that I read. Even if I don't remember anything that happens in them, like I literally read them and I'm like, don't ask me what it was about because I have no idea. Follow along on my TikTok for my monthly updates of what I read. That gives you more in depth about what the actual book is about, and then my rating of it. And yes, I will see you guys next time. I hope you have an amazing second half of the year, and yeah, toodles, love you.